Rich, a few days on from that loss at Oldham, your thoughts looking back at that one now?
Yeah, we're just hating ourselves, I think, at times, and we put teams under pressure, and we sort of relieve it with an error, with a penalty, with a poor last tackle option, and we sort of get put under pressure and seem to concede on it at times, and disappointed because I thought, watching it back, we were sort of the dominant team, the better team within the game, and created some opportunities, but we just didn't take them. I know Brad's kicking himself, when he passes to Gebby and he's more or less over the line, and decisions like that are really hurting us because we're not getting a huge amount of opportunities in games, and so when they are presented, we have to take them, and that's the ball game really.
It's another game that we've fallen to defeat against one of the teams narrowly up at the top, which is just not getting over the line in those games, have we?
Yeah, we spoke about it. We need to find a way to win, and we're just not quite doing that against the teams that are up there in that top half of the table in the playoffs, and which is disappointing because, like I say, we are scoring points, and points aren't being an issue, but the odd switch offs just hurting us and costing us, and them teams really punish you. So we've learned some hard lessons these last couple of weeks, and we've got a big challenge now ahead of us. We're relying on results, and but all we can do is control what we can, and that's going to York looking to get a win.
Losing by a point in any game is going to feel harsh, but especially at this time of the season, it feels that bit worse, doesn't it?
With the situation we're in, it certainly does. Because the goal for us this year was to make the playoffs, and obviously we can still do that, but it'd have been nice to be a little bit easier than what, and not relying on results and elsewhere. But that's for the situation that we're in. I can't fault the boys' efforts over the weeks. It's not from lack of trying or effort. It's just that them couple of switches off under fatigue, or a poor decision, or an error under no pressure, and we've been punished for it.
You mentioned they're relying on other results now. It's obviously out of our hands. We've got to first and foremost make sure we get it right before anything else happens anywhere else.
Yeah, certainly. We're coming up against a team that's won 17 in a row. There's no bigger challenge and one to look forward to than that. To try and be a team to halt that. So look, we've got a plan to go into the game, and hopefully we can execute it. And if we do, we're in with a big shout.
You mentioned the opposition there. Like you say, they're on quite the winning run. What are you expecting from Sunday?
Look, they're the form team. Very well drilled. They work hard. They're very disciplined in what they do. They wear teams down and then execute. And they've got, what they've had is a lot of their players in really good form for long periods. You don't really see that in competitions. Some boys come in and out of it, but their spine have been great all year. Their pack have led. So they've probably been the best team in this competition all year, and certainly we've come across, obviously when we played them at their place, very dominant in the way that they went about their business. So again, we owe ourselves a performance against them, and hopefully if we do that, we can get the result.
You mentioned that game at their place, obviously an afternoon to forget for us, but the response since then, we've looked a completely different team, haven't we?
Yeah, look, and I spoke to Mark after the game, and they had the same situation at Oldham. Their first game, they got 40 put on them, and it sort of opened their eyes and woke them up, and look at the season they've gone on to have. And to be honest, we've had a really good season. It's just some games we've just not quite been there for the 80 minutes, and that's what we need to be. It has to be an 80-minute performance if we're going to get the result.
Fans will have seen video went out today. The last time we played York, obviously teams in a slightly different scenario now, but to get an afternoon like that would be lovely this weekend, won't it?
Yes, certainly. Look, our boys have got it in them, to put in a really solid performance and get a really good result. And but we're going to have to do all the tough stuff and be really good at putting teams under pressure, and especially putting York under some pressure and under for some fatigue. And because if we allow them and gift them field position like we sort of did Oldham at weekend, they'll punish us. They like I say, their spine's in really good form. They've got great strike on an edge. So it's about what we do, making sure that we finish our sets on our terms and in the areas that we speak about. And if we do that, like I've said, we'll be a hard team to beat.
No matter what happens, these last two games, both at home, we want to end on high in front of our own
certainly. The fans, they've been fantastic. Even these last couple of weeks where we haven't quite got the results, they've been making themselves heard, and let's just look. We'll perform. We'll put a performance in for everybody, and you know, if they can come and get behind us, even better. Help us get a few calls, that'll be even more so. But yeah, look, we're looking forward to it. It's a big challenge. We understand that, you know, things are out of our hand a little bit, but we can only focus, like I said, on what we can, and that's York this weekend.